Welcome to this week's episode of Confessions of a Fitness Professional. I'm your host, Andrea Anderson, group fitness professional and certified personal trainer. I found inspiration for this week's episode by listening to a couple of different podcasts. I want to use this space to sort of debunk myths and look at what we're saying in the fitness profession and kind of set the record straight. I know I'm celebrating year 14 of being a group fitness professional, and my thought about being a fitness professional, I think, was different at that time than it is now. I was almost wary to jump into being a group fitness professional and truthfully didn't think of myself as a fitness professional. I very strongly identified with being a Zumba instructor for the first many years until I started wanting to understand what's outside of Zumba. There's more that I want to be able to offer my clients. I want to better understand anatomy, physiology, what's happening, how muscles work, how protein works, all of those different things. So I hit the books and decided to get my group fitness certification, which also opened the door to so many different types of fitness and things that I was able to offer to clients. It really expanded my knowledge and expanded my portfolio as well. But there are these myths, I think. Fingers crossed, we're starting to move away from these misconceptions. But I've heard in the last week many different things about a fitness instructor, that they need to look a certain way, that they have to be enthusiastic and have so much energy and be like happy all the time, and that they have to look put together and just be like perfect and everything matches and everything is where it's supposed to be and not disheveled and all of those different things. So I am here to debunk those myths. And I thought it would be entertaining to ask these questions to ChatGPT. Now, if you haven't heard of ChatGPT or if you haven't used it yourself, it's basically, it generates content based on your message or your question or your statement. So, for example, I put in the chat, describe a group fitness instructor. And here's what it said. A group fitness instructor I'm reading it here too, so pardon my looking away. A group fitness instructor is a trained fitness professional who leads group exercise classes in various settings, such as gyms, fitness studios, and community center. True. They are responsible for creating and implementing fitness routines that cater to the needs and fitness levels of the participants. This sounds great. Group fitness instructors, this is a very long response, usually have a background in fitness, physical education, or a related field, and they may hold certifications in various disciplines such as yoga, Pilates, dance, or strength training. Cool. They possess knowledge of exercise science, anatomy, and nutrition, which they use to design safe and effective workouts. Love that. I'm gonna debunk that one. Not every fitness professional has those things in their portfolio, so make sure when you are hiring a trainer to ask those specific questions. My little side note. In addition to leading group fitness classes, group fitness instructors often provide guidance and motivation to participants, helping them to reach their fitness goals. Love that. They may also demonstrate proper form and technique, offer modifications for different fitness levels, and answer questions about fitness and wellness. Love that. Overall, group fitness instructors play an essential role in promoting fitness and healthy lifestyles by creating a fun and supportive environment where people can exercise and improve their physical and mental well-being. Overall, I'd give that like B+, A-. That sounds really great. That sounds like a very fantastic individual, very professional, has the background in anything fitness or athletic related, has the proper certifications, all of those things. So that's a pretty good general, I think, response when you're asking about what the heck is a group fitness professional or group fitness instructor. Anyway, what is that? You're gonna get a varying response. So if you go to your local Y, you are going to be introduced to instructors and fitness professionals that have a very wide, very varied, very varied background. Some have a particular certification in one thing. For example, when I first started getting into fitness, it was Zumba. I only had a license to teach Zumba. I could not teach anything else. I was not supposed to teach anything else. I didn't for a very long time. If your instructor has a general certification, like a group fitness instructor certification or certified personal trainer, that allows them to teach multiple modalities. So that's when you get the fun, like boot camp style, or gotta kick it up, or the kind of cutesy class names. I for the longest time was teaching cardio sculpt, just things like that don't have a particular brand attached to them. You're allowed to teach whatever. You are given clearance to teach whatever. Not every group fitness professional has nutrition in their wheelhouse. Registered dietitians are really the only ones who should be creating specific meal plans for you, or specific, this is what you need to eat. But some trainers can have a nutrition background, understanding behavior management, understanding how and why you do the things you do, and how nutrition can complement your training. So there are some instructors who have those kinds of certifications, but not everybody does. Pilates is a very rigorous separate certification. Yoga is a very rigorous separate certification, and you don't know where they're from. Some certifications are way more rigorous than others. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but a really good instructor is going to do the best research that they can to find the absolute best method for obtaining that certification to safely and effectively offer you a good workout. So I love this. I loved this idea of asking ChatGPT what the heck is a fitness instructor. And I love that it was pretty good. That's a pretty solid answer of what a fitness professional is like. But then I wanted to take it one step further and ask, because the 3 myths, the things that I've heard over the last week or couple of weeks, I can't remember exactly when this idea came to me, that fitness instructors are supposed to look a certain way, they're supposed to be enthusiastic and have all of the energy, and they're supposed to be really well put together. Okay, I asked ChatGPT, does a fitness professional have to look a certain way? And maybe I should ask this another way, because that's a little vague, but there's an art to ChatGPT to kind of get at the answer that you're looking for. And I love this though. Listen, no, a fitness professional does not have to look a certain way. Fitness professionals come from a diverse range of backgrounds, and they can have various body types, sizes, ages, and fitness levels. It's one of the people that I was listening to, their podcast is one of my early favorite fitness mentors, and they're now in their 60s. And back when they started teaching, back when step and aerobics were brand new, it was this idea of we need to condition our bodies in a group together. And that's not a very old concept. That aerobics has not been around terribly long, maybe. That's actually a good question. I should ask that question. It's not more than 50 years, that aerobics as we know it has been around. It really had this big hype in the 80s and kind of went from there, but there was not really a standardized group fitness other than coming together as an athletic team or a professional team or something like that, like a team. But the idea that individuals would come together in a group to sweat it out, build cardio, build endurance, all of that stuff, build stamina, that's a relative, in the grand scheme of fitness and wellness, it's a relatively new practice. And certainly the way that we are doing fitness now, oh my gosh, that's way, you could do it from the comfort of your home. Actually, I guess we're kind of moving away from that group idea that you kind of do it yourself, but you can access amazing fitness professionals from all over the world. I feel like I say this all the time, but it's amazing. That's the one amazing thing that COVID did for us is it gives you access to these really top rated fitness professionals that you could work out with them live, simultaneously, asynchronously, whatever. You have access to these brilliant, amazing minds in the world of fitness. I love that. I learned so much in the last couple of years alone, just having more access to people. So, okay, so it says, no, you don't have to look a certain way. However, it does say it is essential for fitness professionals to prioritize their own health and wellness to maintain the energy, stamina, and physical abilities required to lead and teach fitness classes. I always say I teach cardio just so that I can talk through the classes. I genuinely only teach cardio anymore so that I can have the endurance and stamina to get through a class without feeling like super winded. And that I can talk and direct you through a workout. So that's and the one podcast I was listening to was suggesting that group fitness instructors should change the modalities that they're offering as they age. But then there was a little bit of pushback from the guest that was like, yes, but we're sort of told as we age, we need to stop doing things like stop climbing stairs, live in a 1-story house. But really, in reality, we want to keep climbing those stairs so that we can keep climbing those stairs, if that makes sense. Like if you have it in your mind, oh, I can't do this anymore because I'm old or I'm getting older and I really shouldn't have this wear and tear on my legs. It's like encouraging that response was encouraging you to keep going. Like actually, if you don't keep doing it, you won't be able to do it. And I like that line of thinking where it's like, you could have this mentality of, one day I'm going to be too old to teach aerobics. I'm going to be too old to teach cardio. But heck, I'm seeing 80-year-olds teaching fitness classes, and I'm not sure yet if that's where I want to be, but I would love the option to be able to continue to teach. So I like to still have kind of high impact, high intense cardio in my repertoire, in my portfolio of what I'm offering, because I don't want that option to be taken away from me. I want to make sure that I'm still able to do it. So that's why you see those classes in my repertoire. Although I think right now I really preach to clients strength over everything. Cardio allows you to feel good and have endurance and stamina, but strength is what's going to keep you going. So if you had to prioritize, I would encourage strength over cardio any day. Let's see, what else did this say about professionals looking a certain way? Fitness professionals' appearance does not necessarily reflect their level of expertise or the quality of their teaching. Love that. I have 100% fallen prey to this idea. So when I travel, I used to travel a lot more for work. I like to take classes. I like to go and just learn from people, absorb, see what's hot. That's how I found high fitness. Like I was traveling out of state in the West Coast and I found high fitness, and it was like, this is so cool. We don't have this on the East Coast. I want to bring this to the East Coast. So I found a lot of different things that way, because you'll find pockets of fitness in certain areas. There are certain areas of the country that you find more people biking and walking, and certain areas that you find people surfing. Well, obviously you wouldn't surf in like Minnesota, but still there are pockets of different fitness modalities throughout the country. And I just love to explore those. But I have definitely gone into a class and sort of like looked at an instructor and thought, oh no, this isn't what I wanted. I don't think this is what I meant to sign up for, and had my butt handed to me. So you can look at a fitness instructor and assume something about them, but I've also seen really strong instructors like get super winded. So I don't think looking at somebody is enough to judge how the class is going to go. I have learned that the hard way, but I love that this mentioned that they do not have to conform to any particular standard of physical appearance. Instead, they should focus on being healthy and fit in a way that works for them and their individual body. I love that, because as a fitness instructor, I've definitely struggled with image. I got to a point where I wanted to look a certain way because I thought it made me more credible as a fitness instructor. But what happened is I ended up whittling away. I was at my absolute smallest I'd ever been, but I felt so weak and I just had no appetite, and I really couldn't have gotten through. I look back at like videos of myself when I was my tiniest, trying to showcase HIIT format or hit form in general, and it's a hot mess. Like, I am a little embarrassed that that's out there on YouTube, but I'm keeping it up because you should totally be able to look back at your old stuff and cringe. I equated looking a certain way and being a certain size with being a better fitness instructor. And that's just not the case. And if you are a fitness instructor or thinking about becoming a group fitness instructor and you've stopped yourself because you don't look like the other fitness instructors in your area, push it aside. Push it aside. The way that they're doing fitness and being a fitness professional and teaching and instructing is not the same way that you will. So push that out of your mind right now, because that is just absolutely not a good way to think or live. And I'm so glad that fitness has really really turned over a new leaf. Even in my Instagram feed, which I purposely curate to show me all kinds of fun fitness things, even in that, I've seen such a wide variety of fitness professionals, age, what they look like, their size, their abilities, and it makes me so happy because they're more likely to be able to connect with clients who really need them. So if you're worried, and if I was worried about looking a certain way, I never would have become a Zumba instructor, because I started teaching when I was pretty overweight, did not have a ton of stamina, probably couldn't have gotten through a class at that time. Like, my first couple classes were rough, but over time you develop your stamina and your endurance and figure out the best method and the best like set list and choreo and all the things that work really well for you. And then you build a following because you're being authentic and you're offering what makes sense for you to offer, not just trying to be like somebody else. So I loved this. I loved this little reminder of the fitness profession, that it is not a one size or one age or one look fits all. There are truly pockets, and there's an audience and a client list for every kind of instructor out there. I do not have an athlete background. I do not have a dance background. I do not have any kind of fitness background. I found fitness in my adult life, like after I graduated college. I really started to appreciate fitness. I might have taken a dance class, or I did weightlifting like a little bit in high school because you had to choose an elective, but I didn't take it seriously. I really did it more just to look a certain way, but I didn't really start getting into fitness or understanding what being a fitness professional was until I was into my adult years. And that doesn't mean, this did say, one of the answers on ChatGPT did say, they probably have some sort of an athletic or physical education background. No, but if you are interested in something, you can learn, you can pick it up. So I thought that was really fun. Thank you for going on that journey with me. I wanted to sort of debunk the myth of what a fitness professional should look like or be like or act like. There are these misconceptions that we have it all together. The biggest reason I think that you could look at me and say, oh, she has it all together, is because you're paying me to be there and have it all together. Like, it's part of my job description, how I see it. I want to make sure that I look nice. I want to make sure that things sort of match. That's sort of my thing. I want to make sure that I'm prepped and ready. I like to arrive early so that I'm like mentally ready to go. I have done things to ensure that will happen. It doesn't just naturally happen. We have to actually work at it. It's a job. So, and that's not to say, I worked for some studios that required us to do our makeup before we came in. It was like, please do not come in a disheveled mess. Please make sure that if you had worked out before, please make sure you have changed. I have worked for places like that, and it did and I still probably do some of those things because it became a little bit of a habit, but it's not to say that you can't be super sweaty and mismatched and not offer the most rockin' class ever. You could. That's totally your style. And I think we need to give fitness professionals room to develop their own styles and decide for themselves what makes the most sense. And as a client, if you're not a fitness professional, if you're just if you're a group fitness lover and client, like, you're going to respond differently to different types of instructors. So there's something out there for everybody. So there we go. We're debunking myths one at a time on this podcast. Thank you so much for going on that journey with me today. And that's all we have for today. I will see you next time. And if you ever have a topic that you want me to debunk, or a myth, or something that you've always been curious about in the fitness profession, let me know. I would love to have your questions and share some feedback and thoughtfulness and get your response. All right, take care of yourself. Bye.